What's up, Richard? Timmers here. With Peter Dinklage coming to the big screen this week with The Toxic Avenger, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Peter Dinklage film and TV projects. Now, I only actually have only one TV show on my list because it's one of his most iconic ones, and the rest is mostly movies, but, still. Now, by the way, TV aside, he's actually really good on the new Dexter Resurrection. But since that show just recently, hasn't fully ended yet, that's kind of why Dexter Resurrection is not on my. That's why I'm not really including Dexter Resurrection on this list because it still haven't really, officially finished yet. So down the line, maybe if I do an updated version, I'll include Dexter Resurrection. But yeah, he was also great at hosting SNL as well. I mean, I think like Peter Dinklage, he could do comedy, he could do drama pretty well. I think he's amazing. So here is my official top 10 favorite Peter Dinklage film and TV project. Number 10 is probably not many people, it's probably a film that hardly no one will have on their list. But I've enjoyed this movie a little more than most people did. That is Pixels. Now, of course, Peter Dinklage plays this ultimate Donkey Kong champion named Eddie Plant, who's a brash, mullet sporting arcade legend named Fire Blaster. And he is very swagger, comedic. I do like that, he kind of wants to. His little scene with both Martha Stewart and Serena Williams was pretty funny. I mean, Pixels is a really fun, comedy. Definitely has some fun action to it. Peter Dinklage, I love the mullet he has. I mean, I thought he was pretty fun in this. So, yeah, all right. Coming in at number 9 is The Boss. Now, of course, this stars Melissa McCartney, who plays Michelle Darnell, who's a disgraced business mogul who rebuilds her empire through a brownie selling venture. And here, Dinklage plays Renat, who's a flamboyant katana wielding business rival with a romantic past with Michelle. And he is really hilarious through his parts. Definitely plays the villain, mostly villainous role pretty well. He is very, he's like a, let's say, a short version of Elon Musk. That's why I really got him. Definitely had a little bit of an Elon Musk feel to him. But yeah, Peter Dinklage is great in this. I mean, of course, Melissa McCartney is great. Kristen Bell. It is a really fun little comedy if you guys haven't seen it. Number 8 is a recent one, and that is Wicked. Now, of course, he actually voices the talking goat and history professor who mentors Ophelia. And I really quite like Peter Dinklage's vocal performance very well. He really brings the depth to the character's warnings about Oz's political tensions. He is really he buys his voice very well, and obviously he is coming back for the sequel, so that's gonna be cool. Obviously Ariana Grande is great. I mean, everyone always talks about how great Ariana Grande is, Cynthia Erivo, which hey, they were great. But Peter Dinklage definitely, stole some great scenes as the voice of Mr. Dr. Dillamon, and really definitely look forward to see him the character back again. All right, number 7 is Elf. This is actually the movie that really introduced me to Peter Dinklage, and granted, it's only a small role, but it's one of the most one of the most funniest roles in the Elf film. Where of course Peter Dinklage plays Miles Finch, who's a self-important children's book author with a short fuse. And of course, the iconic scene of where Will Ferrell goes into the boardroom scene, and asks, "Are you a? I didn't know you have elves working here." And of course, Peter Dinklage says his iconic line, "Call me elf one more time." And then obviously, Peter Dinklage, pretty much, fights has a fight scene with Will Ferrell, which one of the most iconic moments there is. Again, he doesn't really have much of a big role here. He only has, a tiny role. But it's one of the most, memorable scenes. He actually done stuff beforehand, but I feel like it was really Elf that really introduced more, before Game of Thrones, obviously, introduced more people to Peter Dinklage, and he was really hilarious. This was actually my first introduction to him, obviously, and yeah, he was really good at this one. Alright, number 6 is Death at a Funeral. Now, the original UK version is cool, don't get me wrong, I'm going with the 2010 version. I actually think the 2010 version is a tad bit better than the original. I know that's actually unpopular to say, but that's just me. Now, of course, this is a remake of the British comedy, which, by the way, Peter Dinklage was also in the British version as well. But it's about a dysfunctional family who gathers for a funeral that spirals into chaos. Peter Dinklage plays Peter, who's pretty much a secretly figure tied to the deceased father here. And the remake is actually pretty fun. You got Chris Rock, Martin Lawrence, Kevin Hart, uh, Zoe Saldana, James Marsden. The list goes on and on. It's a really cool cast. It's really hilarious throughout. Seeing them try to take down Peter Dinklage is really hilarious, and they really messed him up badly throughout. I mean, Peter Dinklage is he could really do comedy pretty well, and this and Elf really showcases comedic talents. All right, number 5 is X Men: Days of Future Past. Now I know he was also in Infinity War, but to be honest, I always keep forgetting he was in that. He's barely in Infinity War. He actually has more scenes in Elf than he has in Infinity War. You know, so I decided to choose between either Days of Future Past or Infinity War. He's more the main villain in Days of Future Past, so I'm picking Days of Future Past. And Days of Future Past is great. Of course, Peter Dinklage portrays Belvoir Trask, who's a brilliant, bigoted scientist behind the Sentinels. And I feel like he doesn't really get talked about as much. All the villains in the X Men franchise, I feel like Peter Dinklage does not really get talked about much. But he still plays his part very well. Seeing him play a Marvel villain was pretty cool. Of course, out of all the X Men films, from First Class to Dark Phoenix, Days of Future Past is definitely the best out of those ones, and I still thought it was a pretty cool role here. All right, number 4 is Find Me Guilty. Now, Find Me Guilty, of course, is I guess you could say the movie that really showcased Vin Diesel's acting chops. Because whenever you think of Vin Diesel, obviously you always think of Fast and Furious, Triple X. I feel like this is actually the movie that could have gotten Vin Diesel an Oscar nomination. The way Dwayne Johnson is getting Oscar buzz for Smashing Machine, if you really think of it, this was pretty much Vin Diesel's Smashing Machine. If you guys don't know much about the story here, it is a crime drama that follows mobster Jackie Diagnostico, who defends himself in a lengthy RICO trial against the Lucius's crime family. And Peter Dinklage plays this composed defense attorney, and his scenes with Vin Diesel is really good. They really play off each other well. You could really buy Peter Dinklage as a lawyer perfectly, and this was a really great performance of his. All right, number 3 is My Dinner with Hervé. Now, My Dinner with Hervé is an HBO biopic about journalist Danny Tate's final interview with Hervé Villachelvis, who, of course, is best known for playing Tattoo on Fantasy Island. I have no idea why Peter Dinklage didn't get a Holly Ang Award recognition for this. Obviously, Emmys and stuff like that. This is maybe one of his best performances. He really embodied the role of Hervé perfectly. His chemistry with Jamie Dornan is terrific. This is also from the same director who did the movie, the Alfred Hitchcock film Hitchcock. He did a good job with this. It's a really amazing movie. Great dialogue. Peter Dinklage was so good in this. I mean, he really did the French accent pretty well as Hervé. It really felt like Hervé, came life in this one. It's a really good performance. Number 2 is, of course, obviously the only TV show on my list, and that is Game of Thrones. Obviously he plays Tyrion Lannister, who's a shot-witted noble or orchestrated here, and of course his intelligence and moral complexity obviously won him tons of Emmys. This, obviously, he was always best known for appearing in Elf and all, but I feel like this is actually the show that really put him on the map for most people, and made a lot of people become a fan of Peter Dinklage. And well deserving here. This is one of his most iconic roles to date. He plays the part very well. I mean, he's just really incredible here. I mean, definitely one of the best performances on Game of Thrones, in my opinion. Emilia Clarke is great. Kit Harington and all of them are good. The best will always be Peter Dinklage. Now, what is better than Game of Thrones? My favorite project of his, number one, is The Station Agent, directed by Tom McCarthy. Who gave us like Win Win, the Adam Sandler movie The Cobbler, the Oscar-winning film, Spotlight. This, of course, stars Dinklage, who plays Finbar McBride, who's a reserve independent train enthusiast who resists connection to gradually opens his subs. And this is actually, I guess, say one of his earliest performances. I think he could have easily got. It's crazy to believe he's never really got an Oscar nomination. I kid you not. He's got Emmys and stuff, Tonys and whatever. I cannot really recall he ever got an Oscar nomination, which is a shame because he is terrific. Of course, like Patricia Clarkson, Bobby Cannavale, Michelle Williams is also good in this. Peter Dinklage shines as well, and really remarkable performance here. Anyway, that is of course it. Here is my quick rundown. Number 10, Pixels. 9, The Boss. 8, Wicked. 7, Elf. 6, Death at a Funeral. 5, X-Men Days of Future Past. 4, Find Me Guilty. 3, My Dinner with Hervé. 2, Game of Thrones. And number 1 is The Station Agent. Now, there's loads of other ones, like, he's been in some really great stuff. Of course, he was really good in 3 Billboards, Outside of Abbott, Missouri. Let me see. Cyrano, I definitely probably could have added. Dinklage. Movies and TV shows. Of course, the aforementioned Dexter Resurrection. He's great on that show. He's more of a guest appearance, but still. Of course, he was really good in Adventures of Infinity War. I Care a Lot. He was great in. I probably could have added that on my list. Actually, if I was to do my top 10 favorite performances, I Care a Lot probably would have been on my list if I was to do my favorite performances of his. Cannot wait for Roofman. That looks great. Let's see. She Came to Me, Angry Birds 2, Angriest Man in Brooklyn, Penelope. I forgot he was in Chronicles of Narnia of Prince Caspian. Transformers Rise of the Beast. I forgot he was in that. Obviously, his hosting gig on SNL. I mean, the guy is always amazing. Let me let you guys. What are your favorite Peter Dinklage film or TV projects? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Simon signing off.